Tell me what happened today.
Well, we started today to demise a couple pumpkins, and the first one was the Foss 992, which was 1125 fronds, and we just wanted to put a good finishing end to the pumpkin season, and we just want to finish it off with a bang.
I get carried away here, so I'm going for the Giants. What I'm going to try to talk to you guys, gals, tonight about is just kind of let them grow and do your best to get those at around 300, 400, 500 pounds.
We all dream of growing to 1,500, but 1,100 will do.
What is that?
It's 2 half-pound blocks of TNT.
And in first place, we have a grower that broke 1,000 pounds for the first time this year.
The big one that I had, the 977, the first week, 1 week that I measured it, grew 167 pounds. And the following week it gained 134 pounds. That's 301 pounds in 2 weeks.
I'm just hoping for big and big. My goal this year is big.
3, 2, 1.
Well, the city is waking from a long winter sleep.
Last year, I decided that I was going to grow giant pumpkins again after a couple of years off. And I thought, you know, why don't I read up on it and be a world-class pumpkin grower? Because it can't be much different than what I'm doing already. You know, I went online and read up on them, and all they're really talking about is stuff that I did mostly anyway, so I couldn't see it being that much different than what I was already doing. But there were some things that were different. And one of the first things was starting seeds indoors. Alright, today we're going to start state fair seeds. These seeds produced my biggest pumpkins that I grew last year. This helps it when it sprouts. It helps it shed the seed coat easier. What you're trying to do is expose the front part there. This has got a heating pad on it here that's running at 85, 90 degrees, so So I'm only going to plant one Blair and one Jerry out, but the other two are backups. So, by the way, today is April 10th, and I wanted to plant these out in the garden on the 25th of April. So I expect these to be up in about 4 or 5 days. They're going to come up and they're going to grow pretty fast. Now this is like 3 weeks earlier than I did last year. So I'm trying to get them bigger. So that's the goal. The idea here is to warm up the soil faster and keep them hotter than the average air ambient temperature. I want to get that about 85 in there and stay around 85. And you want to get that soil up to 80 degrees if you can. Okay. Right now it's probably around about 55. I don't know, but so you want to warm it up, and that's what this does. One of my older brothers really got me started growing the giant pumpkins. He told me he grew one that was a couple hundred pounds, so I figured I'd have to beat him. So I tried about 3 or 4 years. I finally caught on every time. He'd wait until I said what I grew, then he'd say, well, yeah, mine is about 20 pounds heavier. Finally caught on that his wasn't, but he would just tell me. So, well, there's always, where do you want to put your spare time? I used to do it with flowers. I used to have 30 or 40 flower gardens, and now it's just big pumpkins. And I used to switch off between pumpkins and flowers, and sometimes I did both. And I was just fanatic about one as I was the other. And they're both a lot of work when you want to do things the correct way and do them well. My goal this year is to grow some giant pumpkins, and my first objective goal is to win the state fair again for the second consecutive year here. And my second goal is to grow the state's largest pumpkin, which right now is held by Gerald Johnson in Clearbrook. So we're going to see if we can't beat that this year.
Okay.
This is Mr. Foss, and he grows giant pumpkins. He's going to do a presentation for us.
I'm going to just tell you about the basics tonight and give you a couple tips. And I think that'll be enough to get you going. Does anybody here know how big largest pumpkin ever grown was?
Well, I know it was over 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
1,400 pounds.
That's pretty close.
1,401.
No. Biggest one ever grown was 1,458 pounds. Good. The world record, though, is 1,446 pounds, and the reason for that is the biggest one had a pinhole in it, so you can't count it if it has any holes in it. It's called your personal best, and it's called a big pumpkin, but it's not a qualified pumpkin. So they have to be in solid shape.
Well, show us what you got in your trunk.
Mm-hmm. This is what I have. I use a tape measure to show them how big the circumference is. This is a pass around. This is just my yard last fall. It shows all my different pumpkins.
You can take a look. I have to admit there is some little magic done here on this photograph. To get some added pumpkins in there. One for the state fair, for instance, I picked in September, and it actually didn't exist. I'm a magician on the computer also, so.
This is a sequence of events through the year, the highlights of growing pumpkins. And this is just a newspaper article I pass around. Same. It's an article done about me last year in the big pumpkins. And then I have 3 how to grow world-class giant pumpkins. 3 books I just passed around so people can take a look at and get ideas from them, how big they are, color, and whatever. And that brings out a lot of questions when they're done.
Do you rotate it around? How many times a week do you want to water them? Just once? Or how far away should you plant your other plants since they grow so far?
Do you ever put a bowl of milk under?
And I have a notebook in case somebody stumps me, so I can write the question down. I don't have any questions in it yet, so. Then I have seeds I give out.
Last year he decided to plow yet another half acre to put in gardens, so.
No.
Yes, you did.
2 feet on each side of my garden is all I want.
You took all the area where that big old shed was. And then this year he added yet another garden. So pretty soon there will be nothing but garden.
That sounds pretty good.
Not to me.
Every day when I get home, I take a tour of the garden, and I take my hoe with me, and that's how I weed. I weed every day, and you see how the plants or any vegetables or anything are doing that day. If you only garden on the weekends, it doesn't work. You get too far behind and you get disappointed. This area will be, as soon as I get it ready, and I'll get some hot houses out here, and then I'll fence it off. So there'll be a fence all around it. I got 2 loads of manure on here so far. I'll probably put another 3 on maybe. This is a load of manure. You can see it's pretty well. Looks almost like black dirt. So today I got cow manure, and also yesterday I got a load of hay to put down. Today I did the lower super garden. I put sheep manure down on that. I want to experiment with sheep manure only on that one. And then I put down about 3 inches of hay, and I tilled it all. I plowed it, then I tilled it all off, the hay all in. The plant I'm planting here is going to produce a very orange pumpkin. My guess it should be in the range of 1,000 pounds.
So do you know now which one you'd be taking to the state fair, which one you'd be...
Yeah, the 2 that are growing are state fair candidates.
Okay.
No guarantees, but those are the ones that I planted for the state fair.
Did you plant those earlier for that reason?
Yes.
Because they have a shorter growing?
Yeah, they'll be harvested at around the 25th of August, so, which is maybe, last year was 6 weeks earlier than normal people were harvesting their pumpkins. So, so I'm going to try them starting earlier. It doesn't mean that it's going to do any better than one started 4 weeks later. So, I mean, I'm trying and see what happens.
Okay. What is it about growing? I mean, what is it about gardening that you really like?
I don't know. You take this little seed and you plant it, and it produces something far bigger than it started, and it grows into something. And I just enjoy the growth and the flowering stages, and I don't mind the weeding, and I don't mind being out here with mosquitoes. So.
I know you've planted some in the garden already.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you stagger them all? Why aren't they all done at the same time?
The reason I tried to do these a little staggered, usually I would stagger these 2, 5 one day, because you got to move them outside, you got to transplant them, there's only so much you can do in a day. Say if I was working full time, I probably couldn't handle more than 5 in the evening. So the 2 that are out there are for the state fair, and I want to see if I can get them bigger by the state fair than I did last year. Give them more growing time. That's why I try to get them out early. I don't. You can set out plants early, but they really don't do anything until the soil is at a certain temperature and the air is at a certain temperature. Otherwise, that's when they all explode. So, am I going to gain anything? I don't know. If it gets real warm real early, yes. If it stays like today for another 3 weeks, I probably won't gain anything.
After 70, 80 degree weather 2 weeks ago, we now have frost.
This one plant isn't too bad, but it needs a lot more sunlight than it's been getting lately because it's been so cold. It's been keeping it covered. But you can see the other plant here actually froze the night before last. So he's pretty much done for the season. This is the upper garden. Yesterday I planted 6 plants out here, and now I have to go uncover them. Usually you cover them a little bit the day you transplant them. The first one here is a 1446 Eaton, which is a world record plant. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Big trouble. See the dark green on here? It means it froze. We have 2 of them in this particular enclosure because they're going back to back. Oh, he's beyond help. So, planting early sure didn't help anything. This is my weed torch. I use it a couple times every year. To burn off the annual weeds. It does a good job of cooking them, so you don't have to weed them. Works pretty good. It's kind of a fun way to weed.
There's a tavern at the end of the street. It's all dark now, but I used to know the rhythm and the smoky beat of a hokum band playing medicine shows. They sold their music like a homemade jam, brewed up at night and mixed with gin in little bottles passed from arm to arm. They'd sell you cures for anything. This one's a tonic for your trick knee. This one's for pain of any kind. This one's for bodily affliction. This one is for your troubled mind. This one's for wild ambition. This one's for original sin.
So how does the vine actually grow? I mean, you say it's in a Christmas tree, but like if you were to trace out the actual vine and where the large pumpkin is going to be.
The pumpkin vine grows opposite of the first true leaf. So I'd put the first true leaf growing this way, and the vine's going to go this way for 30 feet. But while it's growing that way, every foot or so, it's throwing vines this way also. And those are called secondary vines. The first ones will grow out 12 feet. I won't let the second secondary grow. I'll pick the third secondary and let him grow. I'll cut him at 10 feet. And it's the same thing happens for the next one. I only let him grow 8 feet. And then 7, 5, then 2. And I'm down to just little bitty ones out the end, and you have your Christmas tree. Now, where is the pumpkin on this? Usually you want, this is 30 feet, you want your pumpkin about 10 to 15 feet from there, and you want it on the main vine.
This one we brewed up just for Grandpa, from buffalo hide and rattlesnake skin. This one we brewed up just for Grandpa, from buffalo hide and rattlesnake skin.
We're going to Wisconsin to visit a big pumpkin grower. His name is Joe. He's had a couple big pumpkins the last several years. And he seems pretty knowledgeable. We'll go over and meet him and talk to him. He's also putting together a way off this fall in Stillwater. The plan is to go pick up Gramps. Then we're going to take a tour of Joe's patch.
All of you are competing together in the...
Yeah, we compete, but we tell each other a lot of all of our secrets. So it doesn't really matter that everybody knows everything. It's just and sometimes who works the hardest and who gets the luckiest. So.
Well, here we are. This is the competition patch. Made room for 15 plants out here this year, but I got some of the pretty popular stuff. Got an 845 Bovier over there, 1260 Wares under one of them. 1104 Hester's under another one. There's 1446 Eaton down there on the end. 501 Beachy's out there. My 898 Nos didn't germinate, which was tragic because that was in my crossing plans for just about everything. And it was a dud, so I had to replace it with a 905.
Good.
And put in 1125 Fran.
Monday, June 27th, they were kept predicting that it was going to storm in the afternoon, and I said, yeah, okay, you know. And all of a sudden, about 6 o'clock, just a few minutes after 6, all of a sudden it started to hail, and you used to hear it on the house, and I'm going, holy crap, you know. And so I grabbed the camera quick, and my wife says, you better get my car in. I said, well, you both take some pictures. So my wife went out and took the pictures, so if there's any pictures of the hail, my wife took them. And then it started to rain, and it rained about 2 inches. And I wasn't able to get out and take a look at the damage, probably for an hour and a half. I don't like what I see. Oh my. Oh my. Let's say each leaf has 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 holes in it maybe. Oh, that's not good. Not good at all. And as I walked around, all I really noticed was a lot of leaf damage the first time through, and I come back and looked a little closer, and there was a lot of damage to some of the vines. Some of the vines on my main plants were broken. I got hit by hail, and that was pretty much it. There was some of the fruit got hit. I haven't removed any of the fruit yet. I want to see if they will survive the hits. They usually do. They just are scarred. But a scarred pumpkin is okay as long as they continue to grow. This is a 752 Blair, and I measured it this morning. It was 26 inches in circumference. The pumpkin is 10 days old, and so it's a pound a day. And then pretty soon, as it goes, in the next few days, it's probably 3 pounds per day. And then we'll get to 5, then 10, 15. By the end of the month, by the end of this month, it'll be close to 20 to 25, 30 pounds a day. So. This insulation works pretty good. It goes underneath siding because if you take a real close look at it, it's got little holes all the way through it so it can breathe and water can drain off. And the insulation board just helps the pumpkin slide a little bit so when it grows, otherwise it gets real scabby underneath as it grows. One of the questions I'm always asked, do you ever rotate the pumpkin so doesn't get flat on one side. And no, you really can't do that, because once that pumpkin is on there like it is now, there's nothing I can do. If I tried to rotate it, I'd break it. I'll make sure it doesn't root in the next 2 or 3 leaf nodes. I'll be breaking those roots off. When the pumpkin gets about this high, the vine's in the middle, so this vine is going to have to grow up to about this high. So I may have to pull more as I go. You can get lucky and you can do a lot of things, but in reality it boils down to a lot of hard work. You're not going to get any big pumpkins unless you put a lot of hard work into it. Everybody's mad. You're going to pick them up and take them far away. Pick them up and take them far away. So that's 7 hours a day that I should be spending on taking care of the plants. That's almost a full-time job. I'll be at full-time. I was only going to plant 6 this year. And I don't know how it got to 14. This, the 1125, the one that the camera is pointing at here, and it's been pollinated probably 6 days ago. It hasn't grown since I pollinated it. So that means it's, and you take a look at the color, and the color, it's dull versus that one there. It's still got a gloss on it. So that one's dying. It's on its way out.
So what are the twist ties?
The twist ties are, I pollinated this one with a certain other pumpkin, so I want that genetic to stay true. So I twist tied the male before I pollinated, and I twist tied the female. Then after I pollinate, I twist tie them again, so no bees can get into that female with other pollen. So I'll know the cross is a 977 or a 1125 by 977. This is a male blossom that'll be ready to bloom in about a week. What happens is they start at the base of the plant or where you planted it. Then they'll just follow the main vine and they'll bloom. Usually when the female blossom is blooming at about 8 feet out, the male blossoms are blooming too. You can see the roots here. There's a root coming up and a root coming down. This root goes down the ground and roots the plant down there. The vine, so it can't blow in the wind. This here thing, I'm going to have to look it up someday. What they do is they grab a hold of anything close by and just anchor down the plant. And they'll actually pull the plant one direction or another. Uh-oh, big trouble on 621. Go look at how many leaves are broken. Looks like just about all of them. Holy. Look at that mess. This was my best pumpkin plant. Holy cow. Well, what we need to do is we have to replace those leaves, so I'm just going to have to let the vines kind of go on their own for a long time. This patch is going to be messy because I don't have any other choice. And that means a lot of work maintaining these things if I'm going to have to go in and weed every plant by hand, because you can't do anything with a hoe or anything anymore.
Augusta, trying to find a trace of her final resting place, looking for Augusta again. I walked all around that Blue Earth County ground, looking for Augusta, trying to find a trace of her final resting place, looking for Augusta again. Looking on and on, looking on. When the Prussian soldiers came to draft his boys that day, they were looking at.
This is my 100-foot tape, so I should be able to measure even my biggest pumpkins. I want to measure these, the OTT method, which means side to side, front to back, and circumference. This is day 40 for the 1125 fronds. Some quick daily measurement says this thing is growing over around 35 pounds a day. So we're going to take a quick look at it and see what it is today, and then we'll see what the weight is later. So we got to measure the circumference and try to do that parallel to the ground at its biggest point, which is right here. I got 11.9. Side to side on this one is a little over 7 feet. We'll call it 7.1. Front to back is 72 plus 10, which is 82. A few days ago, and it was close to 700 pounds. It's a 1058, the one down below, so it's probably in 3 days, it's probably put on another 90 pounds, so it's probably about 750 pounds.
Well, is that right on track, or?
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Okay.
You gonna win this year?
I sure hope so. I got a couple here that if they hold together, they're going to be in way over 1,100 pounds.
I've been writing my favorite phrases in some language I can barely read, on the backs of invoices and cocktail napkins, crumpled pages like fallen leaves, and the leaves keep falling one after the other till the whole place looks like an accident scene. The tree is barren, bracing for winter, dreaming of summer and the evergreens. And the leaves keep falling one after the other, some better than others, some in between. Take them all, keep them together.
We're going over to the neighbors, Bill Ebnett, and I gave him some seeds last year. Then I had some spare plants that I gave him, and one of the spare plants has produced a nice pumpkin, and we're going to go take a look. He's kind of a little maintenance type of guy, or low maintenance or no maintenance. So we're going to go over and talk to him and see how his pumpkin's doing today.
Yeah, and here's my big one. I was watering today trying to get, because this is the main root from that pumpkin right there. I don't know what the number is. Bill knows the number of that one.
This is a 903 Sherwood that he's on this plant. It's a very nice genetics. It's the 1260 Weir and the 810 Bill, so it's a very pretty pumpkin.
This is an experiment in what you don't really have to do to grow a big pumpkin. You know, it's the lack of water and not really much fertilizer, and you borrow the plants from somebody else.
He hasn't pruned any pumpkins off it, and he hasn't pruned any of the vines.
No.
He buried them a couple times just at the ends so the wind wouldn't blow them.
And the kids kind of came in here this morning and tore the heck out of the place.
I showed him a little bit on how to do some of that stuff, but he hadn't got the pumpkin bug yet, so he didn't want to do all that extra work. So I'd come over about once a week and help him with the make sure the stem and everything was okay, and it's a very well positioned stem, and it's a very well positioned pumpkin.
Stem is very nice.
It's a very beautiful pumpkin. I don't have anything close to being so symmetrical and nice and orange. And
you want me to cut them leaves off of there so you can see it?
No.
I can cut them off.
No, just leave it.
Yeah. He's about the same size as he was yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
As long as we're doing this the scientific way. All right. It's 126 inches.
The Minnesota State Fair is a giant get-together of people, probably drawing about 100,000 per day for 11 or 12 days. I got involved in it last year, kind of by egging on from my niece a few years ago, who came back from the fair and said that my pumpkins were bigger than those at the fair and I should take mine because I would win. So I checked it out a couple years later, and indeed mine were bigger at that time than those that were being shown at the state fair, so I decided I'd enter mine last year.
Let's see, last year it was 760?
713.
713, so he wants to go 850 at least this year for the state fair. So, are you close?
750 would be
750?
I have to bring them down.
Oh, come on, you told me you wanted to go at least 850, so you were sure you'd win. Because you might have some competition this year.
It might not be as high, but it's deeper.
He's saying this is supposed to be over 800 pounds.
What we're going to do is check the pumpkin first, and if it's okay, then we'll whack everything off here. And I think I got the bolt cutter in there.
Need the bolt cutter just to get the stem off.
Cut the stem off. Okay, this is 1432 Carlson, and we're getting ready to take it to the Minnesota State Fair. Everything looks solid over here. Back looks solid.
So far.
Everything looks good. So goes up here.
Here?
Yep.
Okay, you got it. There you go.
Put it in the ground.
Okay, you're going to the high price method.
Oh, yeah, well, this is more accurate.
Okay.
Okay, we got 8 feet 1. Close enough.
You want me to cheat and pull a little bit?
No. 7 feet 8.
11 feet 11.
Okay, 11?
Yeah.
So it's 772, and I said 775, so we'll see where we're at.
You're lucky if you push 740.
I bet you it's close to 8.
I bet you lucky if you push 740.
Yes, I've decided, I'm growing 14 pumpkins this year, and I've decided which one to take to the fair. I'm going to be taking the 1432 Carlson, which is growing well, but I don't foresee it getting much over 1,000 pounds. If it gets that, if I let it grow through the rest of the year. So I'll be taking that one. And I felt this pumpkin I could win the state fair with, and it would be a very nice pumpkin to show. This is not my biggest pumpkin, but it's one that I felt I could sacrifice. If I don't see any big growers there this year, I would expect the next ones to be about 550 pounds. So as a quote said last year, I hope to squash the competition.
It's all that's left of the man I used to be. Be kind, but what I say is true. I was just a poor boy traveling through. I was just a poor boy traveling through. How was I to know that the people in this town we're looking for a thief, trying to track him down? How was I to know as I turned down the avenue? You get used to eyes following you when you're a poor boy traveling through. When I found that necklace on the ground, how could I know the thief dropped it running out of town? How could I know? I thought my good luck had finally come true. But luck can have another side too, when you're a poor boy traveling through. Aside and made a brand new necklace for me. They took me up the hill and they stood me under that tree.
We are looking at 5, 6, 7, 800. Yeah, 840. All right. 840 pounds.
You see me on the freeway there?
A little bit about the movie.
I actually grown them up on my brother's farm, so. But you sent me an email earlier.
I thought I did.
You invited me up. We never got connected. Hey, so what do I do to get seats?
I have to get this one back first.
I know. You got pumpkins on the same line?
No.
How'd you do it again? Greenhouse. You got fertilizer.
You start them in the house?
You got fertilizer that's special.
No.
You gotta have something. I know. I mean, because this is our 6th year and it's fun, just being here.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
You guys have pumpkins too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ours is 288.
288?
They're the ones that took second place last year and first place the year before.
And we got two
We
firsts.
used to win until he showed up.
That's what other guys said to us too.
Yeah.
We got 2 firsts and 2 fourths the last 4 years. Kicked my ass 2 years in a row.
3 years?
Two.
Two.
I got 2 firsts and 2 seconds, so I'm still ahead of them.
This year we had to put the pumpkin in my name because he didn't want his name tarnished.
Yeah.
Good song, second.
It's in the kids category?
Yeah, it's his.
Wow.
So judging happens tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So what do you expect? I mean, there's an hour and a
ex-
half left for people to show up.
I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I brought my best. Well, almost my best. I always wish I would have took one that would just win by a pound. But at the same time, it's great. It's great to say you got an 840-pound pumpkin at the Minnesota State Fair. So until tomorrow morning, we'll see you guys.
Another big one.
Ooh.
Competition there.
Looks like it.
And hope you have 12 wonderful days at the Minnesota State Fair. So with that, along with our wonderful staff and my wonderful board, I declare the 2005 Minnesota State Fair officially open. Have a good time.
I met her at the Orange County Barn Dance. We walked beneath the yellow harvest moon. We saw Halloween together, went on hayrides. By Christmas time she had left my side. And it's that same old bluegrass story. Another woman's come and she's gone. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I still got my banjo and a song. Every night at 9 o'clock when the working day is through, I'm picking songs that make me think of you. And when we were together and things we used to do, it's got this bluegrass boy picking the blues. And it's that same old bluegrass story. Another woman's come and she's gone. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I still got my banjo and a song.
Michael Keeper, number 094. 495 pounds. Second place. Wonder where that pumpkin is. I have that. Entry number 249, Travis Jenger at 580. And first place, entry number 257, Bill Foss at 840.
Wow, those are big. I'm sure you do. I brought the seeds as well. Super pumpkins.
Your next biggest one is 400. That was really great.
Lots of kids want to climb inside, and lately, because everyone's been asking how they grow that, I just answer fairy dust. So.
Totally matures? Yeah. Or it may stay white.
Good morning. Hey, guess what? Today we are checking out giant, and I mean giant, pumpkins. We got Bill Foss here.
So come on, boys, let's do another breakdown. It feels better picking than a cry. And it's that same old bluegrass story. Another woman's come and she's gone. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I still got my banjo and a song. And it's that same old bluegrass story. Another woman's come and she's gone. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I still got my banjo and a song. And it's that same old bluegrass story. Another woman's come and she's gone. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I still got my banjo and a song.
10:10 the time on a Thursday morning. KRWC's Spotlight is now on the air, and our guest today a gentleman from Buffalo by the name of Bill Foss. And I asked Bill before going on the air if he had ever been on Spotlight before, and he said no, and I'm a little bit surprised by that. Bill is kind of famous in the state of Minnesota for his pumpkins. What happens after the state fair? So you have the largest one at the Minnesota State Fair, then what happened?
Well, I just removed the seeds out of that one, then it goes to the compost pile, because that one is crossed with another real big pumpkin, and I want to save those seeds to try next year or give to somebody else to try.
So you decided to grow the biggest pumpkins you possibly could to up that poundage. How did you go about determining what was going to yield you the weightiest pumpkin?
Well, there's in order to grow giant pumpkins, you have to try to find the best seeds you can find, and to get those, you go to the growers that have been growing the biggest pumpkins for the last few years. So you go right to the source, and you try to get the best genetics in the pumpkins that you think will produce the biggest pumpkins for you.
What are some of the varieties out there of the ones that can grow to be really, really large?
The only really large one is Atlantic Giant. There's a lot of different types of pumpkin varieties and types, and these are called Atlantic Giants, and they're the only ones that are going to get over the 300 mark.
Now, what's the history of that particular seed, if you know that?
I think somebody in the 1970s called Howard Deal pioneered this seed, and we're basically growing a strain of that yet. It's still the same strain.
Well, fantastic, Bill. Keep up the good work, and thanks for coming in this morning.
Well, thank you. I'll let you know how I do the next 2 weekends.
Please do. We'll want to hear it. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Julie Nelson. I work for Camp Snoopy, which is the amusement park in the middle of Mall of America. We're on 7 acres of land in the center of the mall, and it's open. It's not a gated attraction at all, so people can come in and enjoy the rides or just come in and enjoy the park itself. And we have over 30 rides and attractions, and we do big events a few times a year, including our Camp Spooky event, which runs 4 weekends in October. I know that Bill Foss grows these pumpkins, and we partner with the State Fair every year, and he's been a State Fair pumpkin grower in the past. So he has kindly enough lent us one of his big pumpkins to display and add just a little fun element to our event, or a big fun element, I should say.
First 3 just split.
When did that happen?
The last few weeks. Actually, those 2 in the middle there split before the State Fair. But they don't last very long once they split, so you gotta... So I took the seeds out of them yesterday.
What causes them to split?
Well, if you look at that particular one, you can see how it goes down in an area there. That's called a dill ring. Named after the inventor of the Atlantic Giant. That's where this dip is here. What you have is this comes over and you have fruit going this way and fruit going the opposite way, so it's real weak in this point. And especially when you get into where there's a rib, there's nothing. And I can show you that on a couple other ones that we cut open this week. It kind of stinks. Good thing the camera can't smell, huh?
Did you harvest the seeds?
I took some out of both. There's still plenty of seeds if a person wanted them. I didn't take a lot out of this one.
So you just planted it all?
Well, somewhat. This is 3 of them that are split, and I have 2 more on the other side that are just next door that are split. So that's 5 out of the 14 that split. So you always want to see all your plants finish up. The VOW plant here is the 1058, and it's I taped it out at 1,050 pounds. I don't know that anybody is going to beat that. You never know, but That's my biggest one, if it is indeed that big. So it's still within the margin of error for the taping, so. Now if it only can hang on for another month. Crossing my fingers now for all my rest of them that they hang on.
Okay, so what's the plan for tomorrow? You're leaving?
Tomorrow I'm going to be leaving about 7 o'clock. Takes about 2.5 hours to get down to Austin, and the weigh-offs start at 10 o'clock, and I'd like to be down and take a look at the pumpkins before weigh-off starts. And weigh-offs go for a couple hours, and then the prizes get awarded. My feeling today is that I'll probably come in about maybe 5th place, 4th place, maybe a little higher, but somewhere in that area. I don't expect to win.
Come on over here. You're a new guy. I don't remember seeing you. Come on over. He's got big buckets.
Bill Foss. I know him. I've heard
Bill.
Yeah.
Yep. Bill Foss, where are you from? Buffalo, Minnesota. How long have you been raising?
Buffalo, Minnesota.
20 years. Well, you're just a newcomer. You should have giant. Okay, Bill, what do you think? 802. Okay. 877 and a half. Whoa. You're a little off. Wow.
It says Southern Minnesota Giant Pumpkin Growers Bill Foss received 2nd place on September 24th, 2005 with a giant pumpkin weighing 877.5 pounds. And it says 2nd place winner wins $150 and certificate.
Certificate to what?
Don't know. Well, there's the 150. I don't see the certificate.
No.
Oh well, it was a certificate to the store, but probably. Oh, this is the certificate, people. This one, we're going to take this one tomorrow down to the Anamosa Festival. It's a memorial fund, and part of that is a pumpkin weigh-off. It should be one of the top few that are down there. I don't expect it to be the top one, but you never know. But it will not be the smallest one. I guarantee you that. It's taping out at 970. And I'm going 9% heavy on every one I've weighed so
Okay,
far.
I'm going 1,070.
I hope for that.
Because the water content, I know the truck was almost on the ground. You basically needed a 5th wheel already. He's probably over capacity.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do next week, then.
hi, Greg.
Way up, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Doing? Good, good.
Hi, Nancy.
Where's your pumpkin?
Running the truck.
Bill, Don Young from Des Moines.
Hi, Don. Well, nice to meet you. Nice
to meet you.
Talked to you online.
Yep. Bill, Matt Wickless.
Hi, Matt. Okay. All right.
This Bill?
Matt Whitey, Omaha.
Hi, Matt.
Keep growing. It's a machine. I was getting worried about you. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, man.
Bill Foss.
He helped organize Stillwater.
Did you? Oh, I know. I got seeds from you last year.
You're gonna have fun tomorrow. I told him to come down and collect his check. Yep. Make it a business trip. 1125 nice and orange. Did you have the speckles in it or?
I got a question for you, Bill. I asked this to Mike. I asked it to Dan Carlson.
And Daryl.
Take all your seeds, throw them away. If you could have any 3 seeds, and you only had 3 seeds to grow, out of any darn seed there is,
Ever in history?
well,
Or that's still available?
I don't know. Whatever Bill decides, but this is just a hypothetical question. But there's only 3 seeds you could pick. For whatever reason, what would you pick?
I crossed the line in 91. I had no money, I had no gun. I just had some faith in the Lord above, that I could do what my friends had done. I headed north to New York town. An evil man there, he cut me down. That old blade, he took my pay. I headed west the next day.
But it was started as just a pumpkin way off 16 years ago. Started by my brother Tom, and this thing is growing, as you can see. I think our first way off we had about 250 people out there. Now there's 15 to 20,000 people in town. It's really growing. It's awesome. It's a fun time, and it's really, you'll see a lot of adults here, but it's all for kids. It's fantasy land. That summer of the first year, 1989, my son was killed in a tragic boating accident on the Mississippi. He was 8 years old, and Tom named the way off after my son Ryan, and that's why we call it the Ryan Moran Pumpkin Way Off. And that first year, the biggest pumpkin was, I think it was like 251 pounds. And we thought that was a monster. And after, 2 or 3 years, the city of Anamosa decided that they wanted to have a pumpkin fest in conjunction with our way off. But that was really neat. So Anamosa right now is the official pumpkin capital of the state of Iowa, voted on by the state legislature. So that's a great honor. All right.
Bill Foss.
Okay, I want to see 1,000 something here.
Where?
992.
Whoa, man!
Thank you. That might be the biggest one.
Thank you. 8 pounds smaller than I wanted, but hey, that's a great pumpkin. 992. There's a lot of big ones out in the parking lot yet. What do you think?
It's a head scratcher, isn't it?
I think it knocked Blaze down to about 10th place.
It's all them little boards are gonna have to be readjusted after this one and them. You know what? That moment there, man.
How big is it?
That's over 1,100 probably.
What place do you think you'll take?
Me? Yeah. I'm hoping for second. I'm hoping for that before I came down, so I'm still hoping.
1,200.
Nice bunking. 12 even.
Good old Daryl won one, huh?
1,027. Well, I'm docking the third now. So. 1,080 on this one.
Real.
Uh-oh, I'm down in the fourth now. I don't get to ride on the float.
Fourth place, 992 pounds, Bill Foss from Buffalo, Minnesota. Another long drive. Bill, bringing this journey down.
Cut the stem on the big one. Yeah, I still think it's going to be 1,100. Loaded nicely. Doesn't look as big on the truck. That's okay. Just has to weigh that much. I need to wait. I wanted to bring two, so I have to bring the trailer anyway. And then I figured, well, if I'm bringing two, why not bring two more? Fill up the trailer. I actually wanted to bring about another 2 or 3. I wanted to bring all my pumpkins that were over 500 pounds. And those in the trailer probably weigh together
close to 2,000 pounds, so we probably have 3,000 pounds of pumpkins there in those 4 pumpkins. So that's a lot of weight.
This one that weighs 500 pounds looks like a baby.
How big do you think it is? Well, I guess 1086 for guessing purposes, but I think it's going to go 1100. I think it's a very deep, wide pumpkin, huge base. So I just think it's going to go 1100.
Yeah, and it's very pretty.
It's a pretty pumpkin. If you like blue and pink and white, it's pretty. It's different. It's butt ugly. If you look at the butt, it's got some big hail holes dents in it. I told Linda that I'm going to take one pumpkin for her, and she says, "Oh, it's going to be the Linda 1100."
No, he hadn't been really saying much of anything about Stillwater. Oh, I know. He said that he was entering one of them for me. So I said, well, is that the 1,100 pound one? Oops. Sorry. But he didn't think that was funny. He's probably got that little baby one for me.
He's the pumpkin guy.
I know. He likes being the pumpkin guy. And that's cool. I guess it's better than being the squash guy or the pickle guy.
Well, it's all about tomorrow, huh?
Yep, everything boils down to the last official weigh off of the year. We're headed to Stillwater tomorrow morning about 7:30. We should get there about 9. Hopefully we'll go 1,100 pounds. It's a wish. When I'm up close, that pumpkin is huge. It's a monster. I just can't see it going any less. It's off to Stillwater. And you'll hear me jump for joy if I make it, and pretty quiet if I don't. So, well, it's off to bed now. So, see you in the morning.
Driving through darkness, we are the heavy hand, green eyes and targets, burning in the sand, homemade metal armor, welded to the seam, 20-ton street ride, she's a rollover queen. We are the lead beat, we are the heavy hands, like gold blood, burning in the sand, burning in the sand.
Where's the big trailer? I gotta see him.
Yeah, that picture was amazing. I'm like, they're just lined up in a row.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, oh, okay, Bill's coming. We might as well just leave the pumpkins home.
The trailer's nothing to worry about, but I had about 8 pumpkins I wanted to put on the trailer.
Really?
Here, the big. You can feel that you're down at the big ear of corn.
Corn? I want to bring that home.
You want to bring that home, huh?
I want to bring it in my car. You take you up your
Yeah.
and I bring that home.
Well, I thought probably you took your big one to Anamosa, but you didn't take it to Anamosa. No.
I was saving the big one for you.
For here, yeah. But boy, you must have had quite a few pumpkins because you got a couple sitting over there.
I had quite a few.
Yeah. I usually try to grow six plants. There you try.
Yeah, I tried 14 this year.
14, yeah.
Way too many.
Yeah, it gets to be a lot of work on it. Yeah. Like last year, it was a little good, and the year before, it was real bad. That year, then you didn't hardly have nothing. But the 2 years before that, that's when I had my big ones. That was some good years there. That 1083, that's my biggest one. I got that the second year, and I was pretty lucky there. We're going the second year I was growing them.
How much does he weigh? Did he go heavy? 36.5.
What is that measuring? Is it measuring 1100?
No, 1070, I think.
1070? Well, you know, all you got to do is go, what, 2% heavy?
Not
2%?
Yeah.
It still stands at 1,083 for Minnesota?
I'm very optimistic. Well, here it is, Ryan. It's the moment. There was.
That's what we like, huh?
Yeah.
Moment is coming, Bill.
Here, buddy. Renee, get out of the way, please.
Straight out here.
Yeah.
No, 20, that's fine.
1,020.5.
Good pumpkin.
Well, nice job.
What is it? Get over there, Bill, so we can get pictures of you.
20.5, huh?
Give the guy a round of applause.
Thank you.
You gotta play this up, boy.
Okay. I'll stand up straight. You can only weigh them. Right? Just a little more manure next year.
Yeah.
See, now I got something to grow them for next year. An elusive record.
Well, he didn't beat the state record.
No, but there's something to shoot for next year.
Well, pumpkin growers just grow them for, see how big they can get.
No, it's the other way around.
She'll get bored.
And in first place, we have a grower that broke 1,000 pounds for the first time this year. 1,020.5 pounds, grown by Bill Foss.
Thank you.
Speech.
Speech.
Thank you. Here's the award.
Cool. Maybe next year.
Yeah. You're gonna grow one next year? Are you? What seed you gonna grow it on? Do you know yet?
Well, mine is at home.
Your seed is or your pumpkin?
My pumpkin.
Okay.
So you can come over and look at my pumpkin.
Okay.
Nice work, Billy. Nice work.
Yeah, thank you. You too. How much did you win? Total? Yeah. Must be $1,055. All right. Well worth the trip. I think the only time that you really feel good about it is toward the end. Is when you get a big one, then you start worrying whether or not it's going to split. So it's really the end of it, when it really hits the scale, and you know that you got a big one. Either you achieved your goal or you've done your personal best. Sometimes you don't get your goal, but you've achieved something you've never done before, and you've learned a lot on the way. Even years that are failures, you still learn things. So.
Well, the city is waking from a long winter sleep, rubbing its eyes, stretching its streets, picking up the trash, all the little bug crumbs. Work for workhouse cash, better than being a bum. The bums are feeling springtime, but it's different for them because they made it through the winter, and not everybody can. When the springtime comes, when the springtime comes, when the springtime comes, everything gonna be revealed. Well, walking home one night, back from the bar, it was cold as hell, had to walk too far. Underneath the bridge, past the cardboard homes, I thought about the people there trying to keep warm. My friend said I was lucky that I was not attacked. I said I'm lucky I'm not living in that cardboard shack. When the springtime comes, when the springtime comes, when the springtime comes, everything gonna be revealed. Well, the sun rolling over, pulling white sheets, melting the snow, melting the streets. Underneath the blanket, all the treasures revealed. Liquor bottles, hats, and orange peels. Then you find a dollar, then you find a shoe, then you find the body that it belonged to. When the springtime comes, when the springtime comes, when the springtime